But it is so great to have you join us, Carol. I am thrilled to have you with us. We've got more and more people coming and going on this session, and I am going to introduce you to everybody. And I'm going to make sure that you pronounce your surname if I muck it up from my Aussie accent. So it's Carol Kaemmerer. Would you say Kaemmerer?
Oh, close. Carol Kaemmerer.
See, so after a surprise downsizing in the Fortune 500 company that she served as a consultant, over 20 years of marketing communication experience that she has had, she has then been able to move on to helping people create online branding presence, particularly in LinkedIn. So we're going to hear a lot about LinkedIn, and I'm a lover of LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn every day, and many of you I've actually met on LinkedIn. So I can't wait to hear Carol share on that. She works with helping C-suite executives and senior leaders use LinkedIn, because here we have this amazing platform, and it surprises me, and you will find you will learn from Carol, I know, on how amazing LinkedIn is, how powerful it is, how you should be using it every day. She is rated as a top 6 professional branding expert by the American Reporter. So this woman knows her stuff. She also has been named as a woman to watch. She has an award-winning book called LinkedIn for the Savvy Executive. And oh my goodness, she's all over the place. I'm going to let her speak now. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you so much. And my book and my course are available on the Women's Biz Global shopping channel here.
Fantastic. Everybody go to womensbizshopping.com. You'll find all of our speakers, products, everything that we have. It's that easy. You can just drop in and you find them all on one platform. So definitely you're going to want to reach out and find that book. So tell us about yourself. How did this terrible experience, here you are, top executive, owning your space, loving life, and then suddenly something terrible happens and you're like, oh my goodness, who am I? I'm going to have to totally redefine myself, and I'm going to have to drag myself out of a pit and actually think, okay, what is the future? What does the future have in store for Carol?
So yes, that really was quite a shock, because I'd worked for so many years for that company as a consultant, and they were my only client because I wanted never to have a conflict of interest. So my whole network was inside that company. And I knew in order to work again, I needed a different network because I couldn't work within that company again. They downsized and they sent the whole marketing communication function to an agency on a retained arrangement. And so I needed to get savvy about LinkedIn myself, and I began to study it as a subject matter so that I could reverse engineer it. I knew I could write. I was a world-class writer. There was no doubt about that. But what did I need to write, and how did I need to do it, and how could I make this powerful engine work for me? And as I was learning that, I reached to the people who had hired me all those years for the Fortune 500 company. And they were so impressed with what I brought to them that they began to send their customers to me, or their friends to me as customers of mine, which was like an amazing thing. I had no idea. I was just looking for a corporate job. But I realized that I always loved working with senior level people. I always had. And the reason I loved it was that they needed the marketing communications excellence that I was able to deliver. And when I looked at how those senior people were faring on LinkedIn, I was concerned that so many of them just could not express who they were on LinkedIn in a way that was compelling. It was the weak link in their online reputation. And so that's the area that I have focused on since. Shining branding brilliance on people instead of products.
Oh, I love that. Branding brilliance on people, not products. I'm gonna steal that one, Carol. No, I'm just going to quote you. I'm going to go, this is Carol. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love that, because you know what? You've just nailed a gem that so many people are just so proud of who they are in their expertise, but that's in their niche, in their space. Suddenly you get a vehicle, really, which is LinkedIn, which is, you know, like hundreds of millions of people like on LinkedIn. You can give us the stats, but then suddenly, well, you're showing up whether you like it or not, whether you think your brand is being, you know, received in a certain way or not. Every single thing you do when you show up is getting measured and judged. So you might be fantastic in one space, but then if suddenly someone sees you and you go, well, you mustn't be very present because you never post, or when you do post, you post in a really weird way or an ad hoc way, or your bio doesn't even sound like it doesn't even sound like you, or it's really boring, or whatever. So I'd love you to talk through, what are your common learnings about, well, you know, people who might have come on at the summit today and go, oh my gosh, I've never really thought of my LinkedIn. How big is LinkedIn? Why should it be on LinkedIn? And also, what sort of areas would you go, oh my goodness, 101, start here. What's the one thing that they should be looking at to start enhancing, rather than getting overwhelmed by, oh my gosh, where do I start?
Okay, so I have 3 principles that are 3 strategies that I suggest. The first is, when you're thinking of your brand and communicating your brand, use the rule of 3, because people are hardwired to remember things in groups of 3. We just naturally remember that. So we become memorable when we start our headline with 3 things that we want to be known for, or 3 results that our clients get each and every time. If you use the 220 characters, which is a lot of characters, to put in 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 things, as you've probably seen this with a lot of slashes or pipes in between. Well, the problem is, not only are we not memorable, but we actually look unfocused. And when we're unfocused, we are not hireable, we are not referable, we're not anybody's answer to any question they ever asked. Being unfocused is just not where it's at. So start with the rule of 3. Think of the 3 things you want to be known for, make sure that they're in your headline and that they form the basis of your about section. Number 2, write to the margins. Now that's kind of strange, but writing to the margins is writing to LinkedIn's limits. And the reason that that's important is that it helps you be found. Because when we use our keywords often, it helps us to rank well, which helps us to be found. And if you've written almost nothing about yourself, or you've written, you've just decided that the about section is too hard to tackle at all, and you've written nothing, well, you can't possibly show up on a keyword search the same way that someone who is writing the 2,600 paragraphs that we have to write, or characters that we have to write, which is 5 paragraphs. So number 3, write from your heart center. So especially the about section, because the about section should not be all about your products and services. It's too soon, because people buy you before they buy your products and services. And so we need to tell them in an authentic way who we are, basically our why. Why is it that we're doing what we're doing? Why would you want to do business with me? When we speak from our heart center to our ideal client's heart center, there's a connection. And we can do that through the About section. And then, so those are the three things. Use the rule of three in crafting your brand statements and your brand narrative. Right to the margins, which is right to LinkedIn's limits, and then right from the heart, because we want to show up authentically. My book talks about promoting your brand with authenticity, tact, and power. And because people like to buy from people rather than businesses, they want to connect with who you are. So,
yeah, I love that. It's like a dance. It's like an introduction. It's just people being real, authentic people. I love your language and your expertise in this area. There's so many things I want to unpack, actually, Carol, because that's right. People do business with people. This is one thing that we need to make sure that we truly know. People worry so much about their website and their colors and their brands and their bits and pieces, and that is all important. But it's important once a person's actually been drawn to you and they're then checking you out. Most of the time they're not. They actually just want to, like you're at a dinner party, they want to get to know you first. Who are you without being salesy? So I love the way you approach that, of like, you know what, just show up as your authentic self. Tell us about yourself. I want to get to know, who is this person? What are you passionate about? Where's your heart and soul authenticity about that? And I'm assuming if that's what you say, then when you post, you're on the same page. You're talking about that.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We want to speak from our authentic voice, not if we're a very prim and proper person, we wouldn't use text speak on LinkedIn, or we wouldn't be frivolous. Likewise, if you are kind of more carefree, you would have a different voice on LinkedIn.
Yes. And it's your voice. I think that's been one thing that I've learned and felt more comfortable about that, because you get trained to actually, write things professionally and do things professionally. And now I just go, hey, people, you're not going to want to miss this, show up as yourself, because it's like Annie's speaking to them. Do you know what I mean? Like, and people have gone and said to me even, oh, Annie, you're so authentic and you're so funny, whatever. And I'm like going, yeah, but that's, then when you had those discussions of actually moving on to, well, is there something I can help you with? You're actually getting the same person. You're not getting this branded version and then suddenly going, oh, okay, now we've got to do business. It's actually a continue on of the conversation. I love what Diamond's written in the chat. Connection equals currency. So true. Oh my goodness. I'd love you to speak to that, Carol.
Okay. Yes, LinkedIn is all about relationships and building those relationships. And there are lots of ways that we can build relationships. If you are trying to make a new friend, you try to do things that would be pleasing to them. And one of the things that people like is when we pay attention to them. So not only liking someone's posts, but actually engaging with someone's post by adding value in your comment. So when I talk about commenting on LinkedIn, I talk about adding value in three ways. You want to add value to the person whose post you're commenting on. You want to add value because you're amplifying what they say and maybe adding a little extra twist to it. So you want to add value to other people who are reading. And then finally, you want to add value to yourself. You want to show, yes, I read that, and I agree, especially with point 3. So the concept is to make sure that we're showing up authentically for our friend or the person who's posted, for other readers, and for ourselves.
I'd love you to share a little bit more about why it's so worth it. Like, so why it's worth the time and the investment. Because people have challenged me on that and go, I don't know why you spend so much time there, because, you know, is there a definite return of investment? And I go, you show up, you're consistent, it's brand awareness. But I agree, it's not just me sharing something, it's also then me contributing to other people. I hate it when people just like. I go, don't, that's just like, oh yeah, I see you. It's like a nothing.
Yeah,
When you get that engagement, then I
right,
go, oh, you've got an opinion too. We're now having a dialogue. I see everything like being at a
right,
course. It's not like a hi, I see you. It's like, oh, hello, I want to come and talk to you. And
right. And
actually
what's
go, I
happening?
love what you said there. I would love to add something. And I'm like, thank you. I love that. And then here you
Yeah,
are, these professionals having this conversation. Now, why does it
right.
matter? And why should we be spending time professionally when we could just be earning more money? Because, and I'd love you to speak more on that too, before we move on to Diamond, is to actually be seen as that leader, because people will be watching that. People watch so much, don't they, Carol? It's amazing when someone comes
Oh,
and does business with me at some stage, they'll go, oh yeah, I've been watching you for like 6 months, 12 months. They're all touch
yes,
points that they're looking for consistency. They're looking for authenticity. They're thinking, do I really want to work with this person? And you can do that on a platform like LinkedIn very well.
yes. Okay. Yes, we are building our eminence, our credibility, our trustworthiness. When we show up the same way all the time, always giving value, people notice. I assume that's why the American Reporter discovered me on LinkedIn. I'm there all the time. I've got a great profile. And they said, oh, you know, one of the top 6. So that's exciting. I concentrate on building profiles that attract ideal for the person opportunities. And so I have, demonstrated that I did that also for myself, because those opportunities are coming to me, and it's very exciting.
Oh, it's super exciting. One thing I want to finish with also is the fact that you shared at the beginning that here your life had changed, for whatever reasons, the role that you had before sort of ended, and then you thought, I've got to reinvent myself. And what did you say at your opening? You just went, I just went and learned it. I went and learnt this new space. And that's what I want to encourage those listening in on this. If you're even not too sure what it is, pick something that interests you and become the expert in it. It is totally possible. It's not as if you go, oh, but I haven't done the degree in that, I haven't whatever, well done. Yes, there's nothing, definitely encourage always extended learning in different areas. Someone with 3 degrees, yes, you should study. But 2, the opportunity that you can go, you know what, I'm just going to live and breathe it. I'm going to research it. I'm going to read everything about it. I'm going to start blogging about it. I'm going to then put myself out in this area. You can become the thought leader in something. You can become the one that people want to work with in a very short period of time. And look at you now, Carol, you write the book on it. I'm a personal branding expert, so exactly it. I'd be going, where's your signature book? Here we go. Carol's then gone and relearned it, put herself out there, and then puts a book on it. So everyone who then goes and says, well, is Carol really the
Share
lady?
that.
Yeah, she's got the book. I love it. I love it.
I did.
So
And
you
it's
should.
beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. And it does make a difference. And then you actually boldly share about that. You come on summits, you come on podcasts, you then go and tell people in your bio, oh, by the way, yeah, I'm the lady with the book. It's awesome, isn't it? Love it, own it. Don't shy away from it. It's not a time to be a wallflower. It's a time to not that you have to be totally, it's not about being arrogant. It's not about saying I'm amazing. It actually just says, hey, if you're looking for someone who is the best in the biz in this space, I'm so glad you stopped by. I'd love to have a conversation. And that's what I love about, even just getting to meet you, Carol. It's like that instant vibe of you know, that's right. I'm loving this space. I'm good at this space. People are recognizing me here, and I'd be happy to help you as well. Which brings me to the next bit of how do people then find you, Carol? Besides, obviously they're going to find you on LinkedIn, but and they're also going to find you in Women's Biz Shopping. But what would you like to share with them?
So I have something that I'm going to put in the chat. I wanted to put in my my links for the womensbizshopping.com for where you can buy my book and course, and my website where you can sign up for my newsletter. And I have a gift for everyone. It's a little worksheet that I use to help people build brilliant headlines.
Ooh.
And
excellent. Thank you so much. And I'll be saving the chat because we'll end up having 12 hours of chat. So those people who are coming and going, I know that Carmel has just popped off and she's going to come back again in a little while, which is totally fine. You're welcome to come and go. And I will be making sure that everybody who's registered for this summit gets all of the details from absolutely everybody. And I love that. I love that. So if you want to have a little gift, it's called Build Brilliant LinkedIn Headlines. Oh, I love it. So simple, right? Which is another point of business. Be simple. Say what it is. It's like, I'm Women's Biz Global. What do you do, Annie? I help women build businesses globally. It's not rocket science, right? I love that. You want to make sure that if you're speaking to a topic, you're putting yourself out there. Be really clear. Don't overthink it. I think so often, don't you agree, ladies, that we overthink things too much? We think, oh, it's got to be just so creative. And so this is like, no. What would someone Google? What would someone write? I need this. I want to learn about. That's pretty much what you're wanting to do. So I thank you so much for sharing that. Did anyone have a question, a specific question for Carol? Just take yourself off mute, have a little, put it out. We're all being a little bit shy, but you are welcome to. If you have questions that pop up later, definitely pop them in the feed and I will get Carol to respond on social for you. Here's Susan. You got a question, Susan?
I do, for Carol. Thank you. Valuable information that I've tried to follow with my web developer and so on. But do you do assessments where you can take what I already have on all my platforms and my website and do an assessment? Do you do that kind of work?
So normally the assessment that I do is just on your LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
But if I were to work with you beyond an assessment, I would look at all of those things because we're going to pull in things from your other sites. But I don't usually do cross-channel assessments.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
It's a good idea.
I think it's a good overhaul. Who's already just gone and looked at their LinkedIn and went,
I didn't have a question. I wanted to say it was really great information because even when you said the bit about like having a bunch of things in your header, I was like, I mean, I feel like they all relate. It's just like looking at my own personal LinkedIn. I think they're all.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because you can have 3 things you want to be known for, like I'm speaker, author, executive branding expert, and then up to 3 things that you that your clients receive. So there's enough space for a lot of stuff, which is why people have put in so many things. They know that they're supposed to have their keywords in there, but it needs to make sense. It needs to stick. And so I hope that you'll find that little branding exercise that I'm giving away to be a useful tool for you. So excited. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol. I am so thrilled by the conversation. I absolutely love LinkedIn. I think we can talk about it for a long, long time. And I'll definitely have to bring you back as a speaker to Women's Biz Global on just that topic, because it is such a good topic and I think we should all be using it better. I see it as a billboard, right? Like if you start thinking of your LinkedIn and just go, right, well, what's on your banner, right? Does it actually communicate you? Have you been using every bit of your marketing space to the best of your ability? Like if you start thinking about it like that, like here you have a big banner. What does the banner say? Some people's is blank. You're like, are you kidding me? It'd be like, you know, can you imagine? Yeah. Can you imagine McDonald's not putting up the big M? You know, like it's kind of like, you know, like hello. You know, and then what is on it? You know, if it's a picture of something random, it's like, well, that doesn't, you know, use your opportunities to actually, you know, share about it, you know. And even people are lazy too. Don't you find that, Carol? Like people are lazy. So, you know, even there's nothing wrong with additionally putting your website there, or put a QR code in today. I love Diamond. Diamond's got her QR code nice and bold. You know, now in that sort of way, put that there, because someone's watching your thing. Oh, now if that was me and I was on yours, I'd actually go, right, I just want to, you know, go to something that interests me, or if you've got a freebie, something or other, go grab your free, whatever, you know, make sure that every aspect, and Carol's the expert at it. So definitely buy her book and get all the gems, not just me having a little chat and rave about it. But you're making sure that every little section is there for a reason. And when you dive into Carol's book and you really start looking at it, you go, oh my gosh, like they're all little gold nuggets once you start unpacking them.